For my creative assignment, I decided to cook 3 Icelandic recipes, which are Icelandic pancakes with skyr, plucked fish, and lamb stew. Let's begin. First, to make skyr, we need some milk, oikos yogurt as a starter, some water, and some cheese-making rennet tablets. Before we can start using the rennet tablets, we need to cut these into quarter pieces and then dissolve them into some cold, unchlorinated water. Next, we want to pour our milk into a stainless steel or non-reactive pan and begin to heat our milk up slowly to a temperature of 180 degrees Fahrenheit. While doing so, make sure to stir often so the bottom doesn't scald. And once we do reach 180 degrees Fahrenheit, we want to take the pot off the heat immediately and let's cool to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Once cooled to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, we want to transfer 1 cup of the milk into a separate container and mix our Oikos Greek yogurt starter in with it, making sure to stir until smooth and completely dissolved. Once that's complete, then we pour this mixture back into the milk and stir again to incorporate. Finally, once all that is done, pour the liquid rennet that we have formed into the milk and make sure to stir, then cover and leave in a warm spot for 12 hours to coagulate. After about 12 hours, you should see curds forming inside the pot. Take your line strainer and gently scoop the curds into the strainer. Be careful in keeping the curd intact as we do not want to lose too much of the curd into the whey mixture. Once in the strainer, cover with more fabric or paper towel and store in a cool place for 4 to 8 hours, such as a refrigerator. After 4 to 8 hours, our curd should look like this. Now, we take our extra whey and put in 1 spoon at a time while beating with a stand mixer or hand mixer until the desired consistency is reached. Now moving on to the pancakes, we will need some eggs, flour, butter, and milk. First, we combine the eggs and milk and salt together in one bowl, mixing thoroughly and avoiding any clumps. Then we add the egg milk mixture towards a big bowl and add our flour in slowly while whisking to ensure that we get a smooth, chunk-free batter. Now we heat our skillet with some butter on top, waiting for the butter to melt and spreading it around the pan. Once the pan is hot enough, spoon in some of the batter into the pan, making sure to keep a thin layer and spreading it all across the bottom of the pan. When the bottom is set and golden brown, flip to the other side and repeat for the other side. To serve, simply add some of the homemade skyr from before atop the pancakes and then sprinkle on berries or other condiments you'd like, and it's a simple, easy breakfast. Now for the plucked fish, or plokkfiskur, we need some white fish or cod, onion, potato, butter, milk, and flour. Start by boiling your peeled and sliced potatoes in some salted water. Then you want to poach your white fish or cod. Once the fish is cooked and the potatoes are tender enough to poke a fork through, scoop them out onto a plate and set them aside for now. Now we want to add our butter to the bottom of the pot and then add our onions in as well. We will now cook the onions until translucent. Once the onions are sweat thoroughly, add in our flour and form a paste stirring constantly. This will be the roux to our bechamel. Once the paste is thickened, begin to start stirring in the milk slowly to form a thick, creamy sauce. Now that we have our sauce, return back to the potatoes and boiled fish and begin to mash them together. Add this mixture into the sauce back into the pot and give it a good stir, making sure everything is coated and even. At the end, you can season to taste with salt and pepper. To serve, you can simply eat it on its own or eat it with your favorite bread. In my case, I only had Canadian rye bread, but I would like to try Icelandic brown rye bread as well, or rugbrauð. Moving on to our last dish, we will need some lamb, onion, potato, carrots, rutabaga, and cabbage. Optionally, you can have some vegetable stock as well on the side to add some flavor to the stew. First, we add our lamb to a stewing pot and then use just enough water to cover the lamb entirely. Then, on medium to high heat, we want to bring our lamb to a boil, meanwhile skimming the scum off the top of the broth. Keep the lamb on a simmer for 45 minutes or until the lamb is tender, depending on the cut. Once the lamb is tender, you want to add in your onions, rutabaga, carrots, and potatoes to the mix. If you're using vegetable broth or concentrate, now's the time to add it right after the vegetables were put in. Simmer the vegetables for 25 minutes or until the potatoes are soft enough to poke through with a fork. Finally, add in the shredded cabbage into the soup and make sure it is submerged under the water. After simmering for another 15 minutes or until the cabbage is fully cooked through, there you have it, kjötsúpa, or lamb stew. To serve, you can simply enjoy it alone or eat with your favorite bread. It's chock full of vitamins and nutrients, a fantastic stew for the winter months.